So first and foremost, we're going to start with some quick intros of everyone that we have on the call. I will kick us off here very quickly. So again, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Alyssa Persichetti. I am Vice President of Partner Success here at FEVO, and I help oversee a portion of the FEVO client base, mainly in the Northeast region, as I'm actually live currently in New Jersey, about an hour outside of New York City. For a little bit of my background, I actually come from the FEVO client side as well. So sat right in Chris, Drew, and Dan's seats before. I spent the last 6 years of my career out in California working for the Oakland A's, started there in ticket sales, moved into ticket sales management, and then for the last year of my career, I oversaw our email and paid advertising marketing. So got a nice full scope of the business out there. And yeah, great. So first we're going to kick it over to Chris to give a quick intro.
Yeah, thank you, Alyssa. Chris Hirschberger, current director of ticket sales and service at the University of Iowa. Started my journey in sports with the National Sports Forum right out of college, and then transitioned from the corporate side to the team side with the Bakersfield Condors and the AHL there with the Edmonton Oilers. Shameless plug, we can come back, we can still do it. But worked out there for a little over 4 years, transitioned back to Iowa, which is where I went to college, and have been here for the last almost 6 years. Worked my way up from senior account executive up to the director role. Oversee a lot of our data analytics usage within the ticketing space, and then the non-traditional revenue generating space as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, Elon, for posting that in the chat. Before we continue on with all the other introductions, just a quick reminder, we will have Q&A in the chat throughout the panel. So please ask questions. We want to make this as interactive and as valuable for you as possible. So without further ado, Dan, why don't you go ahead?
Thanks, Alyssa. I'm Dan Stahl. I'm over here at the University of South Carolina. I've been here for over 11 years now. The first 8 of which were with Learfield, and the last 3 have been in-house here directly with the university. Prior to that, I was with the Baltimore Orioles for 6 years. And here at South Carolina, I oversee all of our revenue items, so sales, retention, and then manage our data warehouse.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. And Drew, why don't you round us out here?
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Drew Bartle. I'm the director of ticket sales and service here at Rutgers. Been here for about the last 4 or 5 years now. Similar to Chris, had an approach of starting at the entry sales level position and worked my way up to the director spot. Been in this position for around the last eight or so months. But yeah, so a little bit different. Been on the sales end side of it as well, from a sales rep position, and then now in a leadership position to use it a little bit more advantageously for our department here. But that's me.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Perfect. So to kind of give a little bit of overview for those of you on the call who might not have a full understanding of what FEVO is, in the simplest forms, FEVO is helping reimagine online shopping. So we have a social checkout that allows fans to shop together, share what they are buying and who they're coming with. And all of that can live directly on your ticketing website. So we can live natively on your site and still help you guys sell your primary tickets. And again, FEVO at the simplest version is just really trying to restore the human element of online shopping. The way that I always like to think about it and understand it is when you guys are buying a ticket to a sporting event or an entertainment event, a music concert, you want to come and enjoy that with family and friends. So why does the buying process have to be so singular? That's kind of what FEVO is out to fix. And with that, as you can see on this slide, FEVO partners with about 90% of the major sports clubs, and as well as some of the biggest names in music and live entertainment. And since launching in 2016, we've helped 1,000+ blue chip brands in sports, entertainment, and music. And again, I always like to be very clear too, not just in the US. We work with tons of partners over in Canada, and also are starting our expansion into the UK as well. So trying to get as many FEVO partners out there as possible. And then on the back end, not only does FEVO have the social checkout and the quick and easy buy flow for the consumer and fan, We also have a very, very in-depth backend called FEVO Enterprise, where you guys are going to get so much rich data, analytics, and a lot of different features that you guys can track in real time on all of your FEVO campaigns that you guys build out. And obviously, we're going to touch on a ton of those features today during the webinar, but just a few that I really want to call out that are brand new to our platform and things that we'll actually cover today as well. We have done a lot of work around our add-ons and merchandise, parking, so on and so forth. So not only can you guys sell tickets directly through the FEVO platform, you guys can embed parking add-ons, merchandise, hats, jerseys, donation add-ons. So we're really trying to make FEVO the one-stop shop for all of the items that you want to sell to your consumers. And again, making it as quick and easy as possible. In addition to that, we also have a lot of flexible inventory management. And for all of our pack partners on the call today, we are super, super excited to announce that we now have delayed delivery available on our FEVO Enterprise platform. So reach out to your success rep if you haven't gotten that set up. We are super excited to finally bring that feature to the platform so you guys have the ability to sell tickets on FEVO without delivering a barcode just yet for a lot of those teams that aren't ready to deliver their football barcodes just yet. And then lastly, one that I know that Dan and Chris have been very excited about is our new enhancements to inventory questions. Where let's say if you guys need to collect t-shirt size for a family weekend offer, what's your student name? You guys have a lot of flexibility in how you can build those questions into the FEVO buy flow based on the number of tickets they add in, so on and so forth. So again, super excited about all the enhancements our engineering team is constantly making to the platform. And they're all coming directly from our clients as well. Just you guys are always giving us great feedback on what we can do better to enhance it. And then one more thing I'll cover quickly, and I promise I will pass it on to the real experts here. Just want to cover a quick overview of our FEVO distribution arm. So again, not only can FEVO help you guys sell your primary tickets, we also have an entire distribution part of our business where we can help you guys get your tickets in different retailers and new revenue streams. So think Citibank Entertainment, American Bar Association, and more. We are just really always trying to find ways that our clients can move additional tickets and find new data, new buyers to their database. And what you guys will see right here that we're highlighting, this is our Costco program. So with our Costco program, we essentially help teams get their tickets into Costco warehouses and on Costco.com. And we are currently helping teams with football tickets and are really trying to ramp up that side of the business. And again, as you can see here, with Costco having around 110 million plus high value members, it's a really, really great way for you guys to get not only your logo and brands, but additional revenue streams within the Costco warehouses. All righty. So moving on to the meats and potatoes here, we're first going to kick it over to Drew to do an overview. So Drew, I know when we were prepping for this call, we reviewed a lot that you guys do a ton around your Rebel tailgates and helping integrate both tickets and tailgates into your FEVO buy flows for homecoming, family weekend, etc. So can you give us a little bit of background of how you guys do that from the beginning planning process to then rolling it out to your consumers and fans?
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick before we move too fast, the Costco one, we couldn't get the block R on there. We're actually in Costco back this year, but
it's not
good.
in warehouses yet, so unfortunately we didn't have a picture. I think
Okay.
it's getting delivered this week, but
That
you guys
makes
are
sense.
a
That
great
makes
Costco
sense.
partner.
Perfect. But yeah, no, I think we've really ramped up over the last year, kind of getting our Revel tailgates crew more involved with a lot of our ticket offers. Again, I think the biggest one that we used last year was our homecoming offer, which we actually partner with the Rutgers University Alumni Association as well. So they help us push it out as kind of like a joint effort where we're all putting our hands in the pot to get it to run. So, I mean, as far as planning, I mean, we always start as early as possible. A lot of our big football conversations will start back in like December and January, right after our this past year after our last bowl game. But but yeah, I think a lot of it kind of just starts at the beginning, right? Just getting everybody who's got a hand in the pot in the same room to kind of level set and get everything ready to go. But things like this, it's really just about planning ahead of time as much as possible. But yeah, so I mean, I guess to give a little bit more background on exactly what we do, right? We partner with the Revel process to add an extra benefit to alumni to come out. But at the same time, a lot of our alumni are also season ticket holders, right? So we kind of make it a customized option on these pages, which is why FEVO makes it so easy for us, is we can have just a ticket if you don't want to come to the tailgate, or if you already have tickets because you're a season ticket holder, you can get just the tailgate portion. A lot of the stuff is built on the back end on pack, so we can add it in as a ticket item, nice and easy. But yeah, I mean, again, a lot of the planning will come really, really early on. We're already a couple months into our process for this year. We're running it back as far as the tailgate and the ticket package, with a lot of it starting to be pushed out in the next couple of weeks. So, a lot of these things have been 4 or 5 months planning phase, just for us to implement all of it with our marketing department, with operations, obviously us from a ticket sales department, and then also the university as well, because we send it out to our base, but then we have the university help us out from a communication and brand awareness standpoint to really get it out there, to get as many people there as possible.
That's great. Andrew, I know when we were chatting about last week, you mentioned that you guys would be looking to kind of expand your tailgate usage outside of just family weekend and homecoming to additional theme nights. Can you kind of chat through the thought process there and kind of what value that's going to add to the overall day for your clients?
Yeah. I mean, I think we saw such great success with the year one of the homecoming tailgate that we thought, how else can we implement a similar approach, right? Where it's a community style tailgate, whereas in the past, a lot of our Revel tailgates have been, just one company buying out the tailgate and everybody who's involved with that company goes. Whereas doing this approach, we get more people there in one go. So yeah, this year we're actually implementing these, quote unquote community style tailgates for some of our theme days, right? So we're using it mainly for a youth football night, which is our first game against Howard. And then our Spirit Day that we have for Akron. So our Tailgate City is kind of right across the street from the stadium, front and center to our pep rally, kind of like where we just want everybody huddling, especially pregame, when the team comes off the bus for the team entrance, things like that, the Scarlet Walk. This is kind of just like our centralized hub, where we want the most people. But it's also helpful for us as far as just, especially for our theme days. It gives our sales reps that run those and that are selling groups for these theme days kind of one central spot to meet all of their group buyers, meet the parents, give away any giveaways that we might have. I mean, for a lot of our theme days, a t-shirt comes with every kid that comes to our theme days. So every youth football kid will go home with a Rutgers Block R shirt, as well as a helmet sticker. And the same thing will happen for Spirit Day. So having this, one central location on game day makes it a lot easier, where some of the people on my team might not be, won't have to roam around campus looking for people in different parking lots, just because people sometimes arrive at different times, gives everybody one common spot. But, from the community style, I think it also helps the coaches, intermingle with each other, family members across the sport as well, kind of same deal. So again, I think not only does it help us, but I think it helps the people coming have a little bit more, a home base, I guess, quote unquote, and a main place to hang out from pregame up until kickoff.
Yeah, that's great. And then for your homecoming and family weekend, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys give the fans the option to do a ticket or a ticket plus tailgate. So you're kind of giving fans the optionality. Has that kind of have you guys gotten good fan feedback from that, where you're not kind of pigeonholing fans into doing one thing?
Yeah. I think it, like you said, just gives everybody an option, right? It attacks everybody. So that way, if you're getting this email, whether you have a ticket already or you don't, you still have something that you could be purchasing and adding on to, better enhance your game day experience, which is really what we focus on. Obviously, again, in sales, right, you never really want to focus on the team performance. It's nothing you can control, right? But the game day experience, is always something that we're looking to ramp up year over year. and even from like a buy flow, you know, of customer experience of purchasing a ticket to the game. How easy is it, right? And with FEVO, we find that it's extremely, extremely easy. So that's why we put a lot of these big theme days like this, a lot of them, you know, towards FEVO to make it quick and easy for people to make a decision. And as soon as they're into it, you know, they're swiping the card and getting seats. So capitalizing on all that excitement is critical for us for sure, especially in the summer when, you know, some people are thinking football, but most people aren't.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I totally hear it on the team performance. As I said, I worked for the A's for 6 years, so I know that struggle well. Awesome. Taking a step away from tailgates a bit, I know another area that you guys use tremendously on the FEVO platform is the fundraising. Can you kind of chat through how that's kind of helped your business and the impact that you guys have seen with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, especially for groups, right? Kind of got right off the team performance piece, right? We're Rutgers here. We're on our way back up the food chain, quote unquote, for our football side of things. So, you know, we're always looking to fill some seats, and I think groups are obviously one area that helps us do that, you know, pretty quickly. And you know, for groups in particular, you're always I'm always looking to find new value adds that we can put into the system that don't necessarily cost us any money, but just help make it a little bit more enticing to come to a Rutgers football game, especially in New Jersey when you've got the Jets, the Giants, you know, the Eagles, just on a professional football side, right? Not to count all the other professional teams. I mean, you know, the competition's tough around here. But yeah, fundraising is one thing that we really have dived into, especially over the last calendar year, and FEVO makes it nice and easy. You know, especially for a group, whether you're a youth, you know, a youth team, or you're a scout group, or you're a company, you know, whatever it is, really, in my mind, it makes it almost like a no-brainer, right? Especially for groups who aren't really coming for the team aspect. Some, you know, maybe some are, but most of them are coming because it's a team bonding event, or it's like I get to see friends and family or alumni that I haven't seen in a couple of years, and we kind of just get to meet at a Rutgers football game, go and have a good time together. Whereas the performance on the field isn't really much of a proponent in their decision. So fundraising is a piece that's been super helpful. We also actually implemented it for our Spirit Day. I know I mentioned it earlier, but to kind of keep it short, we used to run it through an external company that used to help us with our Spirit Day, to put on the game day performance, you know, all the stuff that kind of involves running a theme day as far as the game day logistics. A lot of that stuff in the last year, we've actually taken in-house. So with that, obviously our Spirit program took on a lot more responsibilities and extra tasks. But kind of our bargaining chip was to help them out, and in return for that, is to give them a fundraising opportunity through Spirit Day. So with our $10 tickets, you're getting an extra $20 on top for a fundraising effort that goes back to the cheer program. And a lot of these kids that are coming out for Spirit Day end up in our Junior Nights program, which is another recruiting platform that the Rutgers cheer program uses. And, you know, eventually some of them are going to end up at Rutgers, and, you know, a part of that dance team and cheer team. So, yeah, I mean, I think the fundraising aspect, if you haven't been diving into it and the advantages that it brings you, especially from a ticket sales side, like I highly encourage you to. I think, again, it's a no-brainer, especially from a group side. It you know, again, just gives people another reason to say yes as opposed to say no. So
yeah, that's great. Awesome. Thank you so much for all that insight, Drew. Perfect. And just a reminder to everyone on the call, if you guys have any questions for our panelists, feel free to throw them in the chat, and we'll get to them as they come in or at the end. But thank you so much, Drew. Awesome. So we are going to move over to Dan. So Dan is going to highlight both their family weekend and South Carolina experiences that they run through the FEVO platform. So Dan, can you kind of chat through a bit of the planning process similar to Drew for the family weekend, and give some insight how that kind of transitioned over to the FEVO platform and the value you guys saw there?
Yeah, thanks, Alyssa. Family weekend has been a huge event for us, and it's something that was normally handled by our parent family program office over on campus. And you know, 8-10 years ago, they would just tell us, hey, we need 5,000 tickets, and we would print them off and hand them a big stack, and they would stuff them in envelopes and hand them out at their check-in. We convinced them to move the experience over to the FEVO platform with everything that was available to them and how customizable it was. And that started the change of us getting that data and being able to know now who are these fans attending Family Weekend that are now most likely new Gamecock fans that we haven't ever seen before or haven't attended a game at Williams-Brice Stadium before. And we've been running it through the platform for the last, I think it's about 6 or so years, just before COVID until today. This year, we're switching that experience over to Enterprise, which we're really excited about. It just provides us more opportunities to ask the right questions, that the checkout experience is smoother, and we can ask the questions based on the number of tickets they've bought, so we can get the buyer data for each person that's attending that Family Weekend event. And it really makes it less clutter, and only that question is there if the person has bought that ticket. So, it's been a huge revenue driver for us, and something that we are excited to build out even more. And just touching on that, with the data, we've started to do more stuff on it. We use it for our major gift officers. As I said, these are a lot of new people that are coming onto campus for the first time that might be a new Gamecock fan. They might come from zip codes over there by Alyssa up in New Jersey that are much more expensive than Columbia, and we want to know about those people because we want to try to get them to do some other stuff here on campus. And we're trying to do more and more of that, and all of that starts and is possible by utilizing and taking advantage of the FEVO platform that we have access to. So it's been a great benefit using that. One thing I want to forget to not mention is that with that, we host the widgets on our site from FEVO, both on our athletics site, but then also on the campus website. So if you go to the Family and Parent Programs office, there's the widget to directly buy your tickets. If you go to the athletics office and click on Family Weekend, it takes you straight to that same buying experience. And it's something that makes sure that no matter where a fan or a new parent is coming to the South Carolina environment, they're getting to the right information and the right page in a seamless process. Switching gears over to experiences, this is something new that we launched last year. So we created a fan loyalty reward program, and part of that is game day experiences that we launched all through the FEVO Enterprise platform. One of the things that was really exciting about this, and what I've always loved about FEVO, is it allows us to be really creative and nimble when we have new ideas. So we trained our marketing team. All of these are almost exclusively non-inventory items that we're selling straight through with FEVO inventory, and that really empowers our marketing team to utilize those experiences and the ability to create their own events and to make sure they're ready to go whenever they need to do that. They don't have to rely on the ticket office to create a miscellaneous event and then build out the offer, make sure they can see the right inventory, all that stuff that goes into it. They have that capability and autonomy to do that themselves, which has been super powerful for us. We run tours, pregame photos, sideline passes, photos with our mascot, a whole bunch of fun stuff through the FEVO platform. And last year, we were able to generate about $85,000 in revenue just through our experiences. It all goes in part of the what we call hustle revenue. What's that revenue that if we didn't do it, our bosses wouldn't really know that we could do it, but we're proud of the extra revenue that we were able to generate.
Yeah, that's huge. And we had a question from the crowd. Dan, what is one of your most popular experiences that you guys offer?
It's most popular can go two different ways. We definitely see the most value in our sideline passes for pregame. For those of you who haven't attended a game at South Carolina, our entrance is very sought after with our fans. So being able to be on the sidelines for that entrance to 2001 is a big deal. But then in terms of really being a popular item was we launched photos for graduation, and that went really well. You drive around your campus or your stadium right around the graduation time, and you see a bunch of people taking pictures right outside your stadium. Well, we've given them the opportunity to come in and do it at the 50-yard line or do it in the end zone and take that experience to the next level. And that was successful so far, and we're excited to build on it more next year.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the hustle revenue. It's like monetize anything that you can anymore these days. Like if you can make a buck doing it, why not? And on a little bit more about the experiences, how did you kind of get like all different departments on board with doing these, like operations, marketing, like kind of give us a little bit of insight on the process there?
Yeah, that's a good question. Buy-in, I always believe, has to start from the top and be, then trickle down from there. we created a group and we got everybody together in the same meeting and we talked about it. We had lost somebody from a marketing staff, and we were looking at what do we do with the person that we rehire? Do we rehire for that same position? Do we create, alternative roles and try to make a new role that would handle these experiences? And being even more candid, we looked at the revenue potential and thought that the revenue that we were going to drive from experiences was going to outweigh adding another salary to our staff. So let's go all in. Everybody that needs to chip in needs to help out with this, but this new marketing person is going to run point on all these experiences. And we're going to hire a new salary, but this is revenue we've never seen before. And because of that revenue is new, we can add the expense of an extra staff member to take care of most of the legwork and the big heavy lifting. And the rest of us just need to pitch in from the promotion and from the event management side of things. But once we got that buy-in all the way up at the top and had that meeting, it kind of took care of itself from there.
That's great. And how do you guys promote the experiences? Is it like in confirmation emails to buyers that have already purchased for the event? Is it strictly on your website?
All of the above. We do that. We do a lot of social media advertising, but the redirects after people purchase are huge. Something that we need to get better at is the add-ons. We have the ability to do it as add-ons for ticket buyers for all of our other offers. And that's something that we can get better at and we'll start to get better at doing in the future for almost all the offers that we have.
Yeah, that's great. And just for anyone that's unaware on the webinar, FEVO now has the ability on our new platform enterprise to do non-ticket inventory, like Dan said. So you guys don't need to be building these like miscellaneous items or fake events in Ticketmaster or Paciolan to sell these experiences. You guys can create inventory right in the FEVO backend. And as I'm sure Dan can attest to, it's literally a 2-minute turnaround to get these offers created. So there's not a lot of lift on your guys' end to build these out for the whole season.
Yeah, Alyssa, just to add on that real quick, one thing that we used that for was we sold T-shirts after we beat Notre Dame in Paris this year. So we had a women's basketball game in Paris, and the game ended, and the team is on a plane home within a few hours after the game is over. And our head development guy and the women's basketball sport administrator are texting with me from the plane that they had the idea to take the logo from the Paris trip, throw it on a T-shirt, and raise money for the women's basketball team. And because I didn't have to get with the ticket office and build an event and then make sure the inventory was right, we built it all with non-ticket inventory and had this live in people's inboxes within an hour or two. And we had all the right people saying yes, and we were able to be nimble and execute something quickly that capitalized on the success of that event that we just won.
That's awesome. Got to capitalize on the women's basketball movement. It's huge right now.
That's right. Chris knows that.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, as an Iowan, I think Chris knows. And one more question for you, Dan, before we move on, kind of back to the family weekend. I know one thing that we discussed last week when we met was kind of how your family weekend will do like a webinar for all the families and walk them through the buy flow. Can you give us a little bit of insight on that and how helpful that is?
Yeah, so they're actually going to be doing that on Thursday this week. We've been working with our contact there in the family office for the last 2 months and going through each point of the buy process, what's the word, what is the verbiage here on this page, what is the buy flow here, so that they can then teach the people on this webinar how to buy the tickets and make sure they're doing it the right way. And that's been super valuable for them because they have that test site that they can then walk through, turn it off sale before anybody has a link, and then get people ready for their on sale later in July. But that's been a huge process, and make sure that we're prepared, that we're not trying to build things last minute. Everything's been built out months in advance, and they have the chance to really test things and make sure it's working properly before we get to that final on sale date.
That's great. Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate all of the insights.
You're very welcome.
Going to move it over to Chris, who's going to chat through some different theme nights that they run, their Hawkeye Village, Tailgate Village that they run as well. But Chris, I will let you take it from here.
Yeah, so first off, my earbuds died. Everyone can hear me, right? Thumbs up.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. So on our end, we run our multimedia rights pregame hospitality package through FEVO. We, in years past, have split it between FEVO, and now last year it was FEVO and Enterprise. This year it'll be fully live, solely on enterprise due to the data collection and the buy flow questions. But on our side, it's utilized to really help us build out our segmentation and our email automation. And the thing that's been really beneficial for us is, to Dan's point, the widgets. We have a groups landing page on our university website and our athletic website, and we have the Hawkeye Village widget buried in on both of those at the very top. So from a publication standpoint, we do a really good job of getting that out. But the biggest thing is being able to show our MMR team who the standalone buyers are and connect the businesses that are coming out, utilizing buy flow questions at the end of things to make sure that we're doing our part to really foster a collaboration between the two verticals. But from a FEVO standpoint, what we've really been able to do is take the buy flow questions, and then when we export the CSV, get it into Salesforce and ID match with our current accounts. So that way, if we have a business account that has a suite with us, but they're buying 80 standalone Hawkeye Village tailgate tickets, where are they getting the additional 56 group tickets, and really getting the group sales process streamlined so that way we don't have those individuals falling through the cracks with they're buying on SeatGeek, StubHub, and it's going through a secondary source instead of the revenue flowing directly into the university. But from a streamlined buy flow process for Hawkeye Village, the comments we continue to get are that it's simple, it's easy, and when we send it out to people, there are no questions on what do I need to do. Shout out Aaron Paris, he's helped us for the last 3 years, really fine tune it. But overall, we stay pretty integrated and excited on the enterprise side to really drill down questions that we can utilize in our email automation buy flow. I know Dan had mentioned it. It's tagging every ticket buyer is something that's going to be important as we go into the future of college athletics. But with our email platform that we use, being able to have an automated email tag to it that goes out 2 hours after, hey, you got your ticket, get your tailgate. Or, as we've done this year over year, we now have a database of individuals who have purchased just the ticket and tailgate, and being able to segment those out of just our general buy flow email and specifically target them for our large games that we know we won't have public inventory for has been really beneficial on our end from a revenue standpoint.
Yeah, that's great, Chris. And for those of you who don't know too, FEVO also has an API where we can connect directly to your data warehouse. So again, you guys don't even have to download the Excel documents. It can actually go right in. So if you guys have any questions on that, I'm sure everyone's success rep could give them a little bit more background. But kind of off of what you were saying, Chris, for your tailgate packages, do you guys ever sell it as a bundle, or is it simply like an add-on post-purchase when people buy?
So we do both. So we'll do a ticket tailgate package, and then we do a standalone tailgate option, tailgate only. We do on our end, our marketing lead segments out from those accounts in our system that already have tickets that fall under a certain socioeconomic demographic. They get targeted within 24 hours with a Hawkeye Village specific email as soon as we get the page live. So that's where having it not be based in pack is going to be huge for us, because we don't have to worry about assigning a dummy area, anything like that. So enterprise is really going to kind of change the game on how soon we can start launching things. We start our planning process, like Drew mentioned, you're looking December or January for tailgates to really get ahead of the game there. So having it live in enterprise moving forward is going to be huge from the planning standpoint and getting it out as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And also on the theme night point, I know when we were chatting last week, you were saying how you guys do a lot of like waivers through the FEVO platform and try to just digitize all of the like labor some things day of game. Can you kind of chat through that a little bit as well?
Yeah, so for those in the collegiate space, I'm sure their main campus legal departments are not always the best to get emails from, but we are required to have a digital waiver on every one of our theme days that has some form of an activation component. So for our Spirit Squad day, we actually did, I believe the waiver was up to 10 participants per checkout, but we were able to embed it with effectively what was similar to a DocuSign, but it was through FEVO, where the Guardian could register everyone and sign, just streamlining, more work on the front end at checkout, maybe by a couple minutes for a buyer, but at the day and on the event, it really streamlined check-in and getting people in. Through that same process, in the waiver, we would also embed shirt size. Working collaboratively with the cheer programs, we would collect shirt size, age, the grade of the participant, the school they were attending, phone number, email, because we do run it as a recruitment. Essentially, it's a tryout for the seniors, and then we are able to pull that buyer list and share it directly, especially with the new enterprise setup. We're going to add in our cheer coaches so they can see the direct data and have it real time. So that way they don't have to worry about, waiting week after a game. We have 3 home games in a row. They come in the second home game, they're waiting until game 5 before we have the freedom and time to really sit down collaboratively and pull those lists. So it's going to change the buy flow process for the consumers, but also from the people on campus, it's going to make life a heck of a lot easier.
Definitely. And that's actually a great segue. We got a question in the chat, and this could be for any 3 of you. How have you guys dealt with the data management? Have you guys downloaded it, provided it to the other departments that it's necessary for experiences? Or are you guys giving those departments full access to the FEVO backend and allowing them just to kind of have at it on their own?
I can hop first since I'm unmuted already, but we manage all the data internally. We do have the API set up, Alyssa, so it does go, but we manage all of it. My staff manages the Hawkeye Village tailgate entry, as well as our theme day check-ins. We want to be as embedded as possible to make sure we're not putting added pressure on people on game days. So we handle all of that. And then as we start migrating out, we'll share if people are under 8 or if people are under 15, we'll start sharing that data with our marketing department that runs our junior hawk club, start building out that database a little bit more for them. And then obviously with cheer coaches, College of Education, when we do our Education Appreciation Day for alumni that are engaging and coming back to campus, we like to share that information as well.
So we do a little bit of both here. We empower certain groups to take advantage and own their own data if they are, wanting to. Family Weekend is a big example of that one. We have an invested member on campus that wants to be involved and see it and organize it herself. So she gets full access to that event and make sure that she can see and download it whenever she wants to. Similar for marketing and all those experiences that we're doing. They're owning those events and they're in control of them. But then for other ones, our sales team is managing that and making sure the appropriate parties know about it.
Yeah, our approach is pretty similar. We house a lot of the data internally, but on the off chance we will set up like they had mentioned, sharing these lists. The one that we usually have shared the most with actually recently is some of our sponsors are a little bit more engaged. A lot of them we have discounted options for them to partake in for their employees, their friends and family members, things like that, and some of those sponsor company liaisons that work with us are a little bit more engaged and want to know who is and who isn't purchasing these tickets. So we'll share a lot with them, but yeah. That's
great. Thank you guys. We have a few other questions in the chat as well, so I'll move over to the last slide here. We have a question from Ellie. Tailgates seem to be a popular option for all 3 programs. What activities have been the most important in these tailgates?
I'll I'll go on our end. We really push the all-inclusive food and beverage standpoint. From a one-off, just general Joe Schmo fan buying two Hawkeye Village entry tickets, it needs to be something more than just you have a private reserved space. So our tailgate is all-inclusive F&B, including beer, wine, and seltzers. So we really like to stress Midwesterners like to have fun at tailgates, and our ticket, I believe last year with everything, taxes and fees, was $67 a person. It's pretty easy to go through $67 on a game day as an individual. So we really like to stress it's that, and then the location of the tailgate in proximity to the stadium. We're about 150 yards with our baseball stadium where we host Hawkeye Village from Kinnick. So they don't really miss out on the energy surrounding game day, and they can start seeing as the droves of people start coming in, they know, okay, we can wrap up and get going, and we're not going to be stuck either waiting in line at the very, very end or being so early you just feel like you're walking into a mausoleum.
Yeah, I would kind of echo a lot of what Chris had mentioned, at least for us there at Rutgers. I think the biggest piece is honestly just making it a seamless tailgate experience, right? I think we always harp on like, look, we'll take care of literally everything for you. All you've got to do is show up. We will set up your tent. We will set your food up. We even work with a couple of like restaurants around the area that'll bring the food too. So like, you want Chick-fil-A at your tailgate, we'll handle it for you. So again, just kind of taking that pressure off of a group leader, just like we always use FEVO for in the first place, right? If you don't want to organize a group and get 30 people together and organize the money, boom, we'll get you a FEVO page. The tailgate's kind of a similar approach that we take, but location is huge too. It's right across the street from the stadium where we host all of these. So those are the two biggest pieces that we use as far as the selling of those tailgates to make them impactful for our fans.
That's great. Now you're making me hungry for Chick-fil-A, Drew. Now I feel like I have to go get some tonight for dinner. We got another question in the chat. Dan mentioned building offers on the fly with no back end work on the ticketing side. How do you settle that with your finance department?
I can take that. The experiences are like I was talking about earlier, they all go through to one marketing account. So we work really closely with our business office, and he's very invested in the reports that he's getting back from the financial side of FEVO, and knowing to tag that these events are going to this fund or this department, whereas football events are going to the football fund, and so on and so forth. So we've had a really seamless process and execution on that side of things. That hasn't been a big lift for us at all.
Awesome. I think we have time for one last question before we're gonna hand it over to the FEVO marketing crew for an exciting announcement. For Chris and Drew, for when you guys do tailgates, how do you guys handle the check-in? I know that you guys work with like outside companies, but do you guys build the tailgates within your ticketing system? So there's a ticket to scan, or how does that process work?
We've done mix of both. It kind of depends. For our homecoming one where we sold it out, we had, I want to say like 1,500, almost 2,000 people at this tailgate. So not all at one time, but throughout the pregame, there were a good amount of people that were coming in and out. So for something like that, where we had that many people, we did end up actually setting up, I guess a ticketed event type deal on PAC. That way somebody who did get the tailgate did get like a mobile ticket that they could scan when they showed up. And that way we're not, looking through 25 pages of names to, make sure that they're on the list. So it kind of depends, I guess, to answer the question, depending on how many people that we are expecting at this. Again, for like homecoming and things like that, we do have that ticketed option. But for something that's a little bit smaller, we kind of just set up where they've got their sign on their tent, and they meet their sales rep as they arrive, and they know where to go.
Yeah, so on our end, we've handled it all in-house. We used to do the printed tickets, and 10 days before the event, it would switch to digital and then name check-in only, which we would go into the page and auto update. Last year, we started utilizing, to some extent, the QR codes that FEVO can just live link in, which worked well, but we're hoping to build a bridge where we can just do digital ticket, kind of like Drew said, and have that be pushed at checkout where I can just pull the emails and it'll go that direction. So migrating towards that slowly, but working with the ticket office to make sure we have everything set up properly so people don't get double sent tickets or for some reason get less than what they ordered. And then I'm sometimes an external pessimist, so I'll always print off a name list and have it at our loan check-in for Hawkeye Village just to make sure if something does go wrong, we have a hard copy backup.
I feel that. Awesome. Cool. So one other quick question in the chat that I can go ahead and answer. We got a question from Tyler. With the Costco offer that was mentioned earlier, do you utilize this for vouchers or more so for suites in premium areas? And how does one redeem after their purchase? So we can do a mix of both. A lot of our partners will do just like a 2-ticket pack. For your question on like the suites and premium area, Costco does love to have those more premium seating areas. As I mentioned earlier, they have a super affluent base in Costco. I think the majority of the members in Costco are 200,000 plus annually. So definitely love those premium areas. And then for redemption, everything is redeemed directly through a FEVO buy flow. So when you purchase a ticket in Costco, you're given a voucher with a unique voucher code. You take that to a FEVO offer and then you redeem directly on there. So it's super seamless. No real lift on your guys' end. FEVO handles the building of the offers, the communication with Costco, so on and so forth. Awesome. Well, thank you again to our awesome panelists. It was so great to have you guys on. We really appreciate all of the insight you're able to share with the other FEVO partners. And with that,